All right, Diggsy, glad to see you. District breakdown, 11-6A. This is it, man. This is our last time together during the summer. Then I got to deal with you in the fall. If you think summer, Diggsy, something else, wait till you meet the fall, Diggsy. Good Lord. All right, anyway, we're talking 11-6A. We got two coaches that finally got their district or state championships. Very excited for them. Now the question is, can both of these guys repeat if they end up in different divisions?
I was thinking about not coming to state championship this year just so they could win these things on their own. My presence last year, I think, kind of catapulted the DFW teams into greatness. They got to earn it on their own this year. I might step away and make sure that they can handle things on their own. But what can you say about Duncanville? So happy for just that legacy of Samples and everything that he had to do to get to where he is. Obviously, just thrilled for him. And he's got some players coming back this year. So, you got Keelan Russell and you got Caden Durham and you got DeCorian Moore. And then you got on the defensive side of the ball, probably the best defensive line in the state of Texas. I know you're Galena Park North Shore guy, whoever's me for that. Yeah, we're going to ignore him when he's talking about how great their defensive line is. But Colin Simmons and Alex January are obviously talented players as well. So Duncanville, I think they're going to be okay this year, Ward. I think they're going to be okay.
You think so? You think they might persevere and go another 15, 16 weeks?
I think they might make the playoffs. That's all I'm going to commit to right now, Ward.
That's all you're willing to go out on a limb for is a possible playoff berth?
But another team I'm willing to commit to in the same way are those DeSoto Eagles. I'll commit to them. I think they're going to make the playoffs. And they have been the beneficiary of some transfers this year. They got TJ Pride, the really talented wide receiver coming in from Midlothian Heritage. They got Caleb Holmes, the really talented guy coming in from Red Oak at receiver. And then they've got some homegrown talent in Ethan Booby Feaster, who lit up the 7-on-7 season as an 8th grader last year, Ward. You're going to have to go to DeSoto Middle School to pull out some footage of him to put on the district breakdown, because he is the real deal and a great player. And then how about DJ Bailey at quarterback, DeAndre Ryden at running back, Jaden Freywick at plays both sides of the ball. And with all of those receivers that you talked about, put him in the secondary and just let him shine. I mean, they got talent for days over there. We got receivers for days, Ward. We're back. Byron Nelson, we're selling them. We're back with DeSoto.
Step aside, Byron. We got a new guy. We got Tiger Riding out there and a bunch of receivers for days.
That's right.
What about we're in agreement, obviously, that both of those two teams will sneak into the playoffs somehow, but there's two other spots, and I want to hear what your thoughts on Waxahachie and the Mansfield squads.
I really like Mansfield, but I'm worried about this pick because Mansfield, whereas when I'm looking at kind of 1 to 22 for Mansfield, you got some really good players. I look at James Johnson, the running back coming back, who is right up there with Caden Durham as far as all district honors and a really good player, highly sought after in the college ranks. And you got Braxton Van Cleve expected to step in at quarterback, Jacoby Hayes expected to step in at wide receiver. So you got some really good talented players. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Chibu Okarika is coming back, and Jeffrey Fobbs on the defensive line. Mansfield's got some really good players, but I really worry about their depth. And if they have some injuries, especially playing the gauntlet like Duncanville and DeSoto and Waxahachie, and then some of their non-district games are not as easy anymore because there's really good talent in Mansfield ISD. I think Mansfield is kind of your number 3 team, but I think there's going to be some people who are going to make some arguments for the other teams in this district because it's really good from probably 1 to 6. And Waxahachie is a team that was there right there last year. Obviously, you got to keep an eye on them from the very first week when they played Ennis, and you were very impressed by them. But they graduated a lot, so I'm very worried about Waxahachie and what they're going to have coming back. But Jeremy Jackson is one of the players that they're going to have coming back. And Trenton Kidd, I think they've done a good enough job as far as kind of keeping the cupboard loaded that they deserve to be in there. But now we're talking about two other teams that are district championship contenders in 9-6A and some other districts in Cedar Hill and Mansfield Lake Ridge as really good teams that might be on the outside looking in, but are going to be competitive with Mansfield and Waxahachie. A lot of people are down on Cedar Hill. A lot of people are saying, you know what, Cedar Hill, they've had their heyday, but they've got a new coach coming in and Nick Ward, and they've got some returning talent. So keep an eye on them. I have them ranked in my top 25 to get started as a nod to how talented they are. And if Mansfield and Waxahachie do not keep their eyes open, I think Cedar Hill is primed to take that spot. Anthony Edwards, a good quarterback coming back. C. Dedrick Castleberry, a very talented running back. And on the defensive side of the ball, I think they're really stepping up with the talent. Has finally kind of got that callousing going on, and I think that they're ready to play. But that non-district schedule, as we talked about, is really going to set them up at 0-3, and then they got to play this district. Can they overcome that? Can they keep the confidence? Can Coach Ward keep things up? Keep the morale up over there? I think that's going to be a big factor this year. And Mansfield Lake Ridge, we have been told about the quarterback over there for 2 years now, because he came in as a freshman. Now he's going to be a junior, and Kenan Miller, he's a very talented player. Racine Gilroy is going to be a very young but talented running back. And they've got Marcus Hayes coming back at running back as well. Two really talented defensive ends coming back in Gregory Bridges and Jaden Jones. I worry about their secondary. I worry about kind of their depth, but they're a very talented team. And Mansfield Lake Ridge would make the playoffs in Arlington. They'd make it in Richardson. They'd make it in what we talked about the last 2 weeks with Garland and even the Mesquite ISD district, the Rockwall district. What can they do in this district? It's that tough, Ward. It's going to be a tough sledding for them.
A lot of talent down there in the South Dallas and Mansfield area. So I hear what you're saying. It's interesting when you talk about, and we'll stay off of Cedar Hill after that, but last year you were one of the first to kind of say, hey, watch out. There's a tidal wave coming. It's probably going to wipe out Cedar Hill. And I know a lot of people are like, what the heck? A friend of the show, Olivia, was like, oh, Diggs doesn't know what he's talking about. And halfway through the season, we're hearing from her saying, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Now you're trying to talk about a little reemergence right here. So maybe we can Longhorn fans can ride your wave of success. You crashed them down. Maybe they can bring them back up. But
call Olivia and let her know the Longhorns are back, baby.
They're back. They're ready to go. Well, talk about the team that's kind of crashed. You got to talk about Skyline, man. We don't even really talk about them that much over the past 2-3 years. Is there a way they can dust themselves off and pick themselves up as a program, them and also talk about a little bit about legacy?
Yeah, it's almost like they're just that kind of the asterisk at the end of this district. And Skyline, they've got some talent. They've got the Barnes brothers, Elijah Barnes and Bo Barnes, as players to keep an eye on. Arian Ford is a very talented running back. But again, they've been decimated by depth, and a lot of Dallas ISD has been decimated by depth as well. You're looking at kind of the open enrollment in Dallas ISD. A lot of people going to South Oak Cliff these days with that open enrollment. So I think that Skyline they used to be the beneficiary of that as the magnet school, and now they're kind of struggling with that. So I think they're going to be, struggling with the depth. But their top end talent is as good as anybody else in the district. Mansfield Legacy, again, we're talking about them at the bottom half of the district. They are district. If we're back in 3-6A 8 weeks ago, Ward, when we were talking about North Crowley and that district, Mansfield Legacy, if they were in that alignment, they'd probably be a playoff team. But in this alignment, they're just kind of that afterthought. Sayed Sharif at defensive end is a player to keep an eye on there, and Jason Smith. Mansfield ISD's got some really good talent.
Interesting. So let's talk about 1 through 8 in this district real quick.
And you got 2 state champions here at the top who are looking to repeat. I've got Duncanville to be the man. You got to beat the man. Sorry, DeSoto can't give you the rub over them quite yet. I got Duncanville number 1. I've got DeSoto number 2. I've got Mansfield High at number 3. Waxahachie at number 4. Cedar Hill, a tough luck number 5, but I think that they could easily get in there. Mansfield Lake Ridge number 6. Mansfield Legacy number 7. And Skyline to round out this district at number 8. But again, Ward, when you hear me talking about the teams at the bottom of this district, this is a very good bottom heavy district. It would not surprise me to see Legacy or Lake Ridge or Cedar Hill replace Waxahachie or Mansfield. So do not take this as your bottom dwellers at the bottom of this district. Take this as you're in a strong district, and you got to be competitive, and you got to play your best football week after week.
All right, Diggsy. Hey, listen, we're going to be doing our DFW podcast, Digging for Wisdom, throughout the whole year. Make sure y'all pay attention to that. And it's been a great summer. Thanks for breaking down all these districts. You can go back through our Twitter feeds and find them all and figure out if Diggs is right or wrong come November when the season finishes.
We'll see you in April next year for this again. I'm ready.
That's right.
Ward, let's do it again, Ward.
Football time. Let's do it.